Welcome to this edition of Head to Head. I'm your host, Cam McKinney, and this is episode number 299 of the podcast. And on this episode of the podcast, I'm talking about the Golden State Warriors reportedly calling the LA Lakers to try to trade for LeBron James. There were no massive moves made during the NBA trade deadline, but there was a wild report that the Warriors called the LA Lakers about trading for LeBron James. You know him, the guy that many consider to be the best basketball player of all time, who faced the Warriors 4 straight years in the NBA Finals, beating them once. And just to state the obvious, LeBron James is still a member of the Lakers. It's odd to think that the Warriors, who are just barely a play-in team, thought that the Lakers, a play-in team, would trade them, their best player, to them. I could think of a million reasons why this trade was never going to happen, and on the top of that list is because it's the Lakers. Think about the history of the LA Lakers. They have a history of trading for big stars. Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, Shaq, Dwight Howard. They don't trade stars away. The Lakers are a destination franchise, 4-star players. Trading LeBron would have changed all of that. I mean, how could you have justified that move? I don't care how old LeBron is. I don't care what state the team is in. The Lakers are never going to trade LeBron James. It will have to be the decision of LeBron not to be a member of the Lakers for that to ever happen, and it doesn't seem like we're there yet. All of the talk surrounding this non-trade was about the idea of LeBron playing with Steph Curry, and even though LeBron is older, they are at the similar points in their career where they are both still carrying their teams as the best players on them. I'm not sure right now is the ideal time to pair these two stars because each one of them needs a younger rising star to carry their franchise. Steph Curry should not be playing 82 games anymore. LeBron James should not be playing 82 games anymore. I think the term load management actually applies to these two stars. Again, I'm thinking about a young player who's going to play 70 plus games and carry the franchise while Steph Curry is missing games and while LeBron is missing games. It doesn't make sense for the Warriors to think that this was going to happen. I believe there is a star out there that both the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors should be in on this offseason, and his name is Trae Young. Trae Young with the Golden State Warriors makes so much sense. His entire career, he has been compared to Steph Curry. Klay Thompson, like I said last week on this podcast, is not the same player he used to be. Pairing Steph Curry with Trae Young at this point in their careers makes so much sense. It should happen. It makes way more sense than bringing in LeBron James. And he makes sense for the Lakers as well because the Lakers have Anthony Davis. They have LeBron. They need a point guard. That's clearly their issue. D'Angelo Russell has too many ups and downs. Now they brought in Spencer Dinwiddie. He's not a star guard. Trae Young makes so much sense for both the Warriors and the Lakers. That's the kind of move the Warriors need to make, not bring in LeBron James. I will admit this makes me think less of the Golden State Warriors. Like, you look at everything that's wrong with that team, and they think the solution to their problem is to try to trade for an older star player in LeBron James. I just think that's so lazy, and it feels so old school. I know that's how they became a super team. They paired Steph Curry with Klay Thompson, with Kevin Durant, with Draymond Green, and now they're trying to recreate that. Steph Curry and LeBron James, of course, would be intriguing. Do I think that pair could compete to make the NBA Finals? Absolutely, because in playoff time, Steph Curry is going to bring his A game, and you know LeBron James is going to bring his A game. But I believe the Warriors knew there was no chance that this trade was going to happen. There should have been a backup plan. There should be moves to stride towards the future. Every move the Golden State Warriors have made in the past 2 years have been about the here and now. It's about the year that they're playing in. They're not a team that's looking towards the future. Signing Draymond Green was about the now. not about the future. Trading away Jordan Poole was about the now. It's not about the future. What does the future of the Golden State Warriors look like? It looks like Steph Curry is going to have to carry the team for the next 2 to 3 years, and that's not going to add up to a lot of winning anymore. Yes, they have a nice young piece in Jonathan Kuminga. He's a good player. I don't know if he's ever going to be a great player. Klay Thompson is not the same player. Draymond Green is not the same player. My point is the Golden State Warriors are not building towards anything. When they were a dynasty, obviously their future looked bright because Steph Curry was in his prime. Kevin Durant was in his prime. At one point, Andrew Wiggins was in his prime. Other names were in their prime. Andre Iguodala, they were the best basketball team because they were about the here and now, and they had a bright future. Right now, they have neither of those things. The right now for the Warriors looks really bleak. They're not a team competing for a title. They have an aging Steph Curry who has to hit buzzer beaters to carry the team, and they tried to make a desperate trade to trade for LeBron James. I think what we're finding out here is how important Bob Myers was to the Golden State Warriors. He was making all of the right moves, and I know we underrate basketball executives, but he really put together an all-time great team, and now that team is falling apart. And they clearly have no answers on how to fix the problem. I mean, did they really think the LA Lakers, again, the team that trades for star players, they don't trade them away, was going to give them LeBron James? I just don't understand how that's how you spent your NBA trade deadline. You didn't trade away Klay Thompson, which would have made a lot of sense. You didn't try to trade away Draymond Green, which I think would make a lot of sense. The Golden State Warriors need to realize where they are right now. They need to look in the mirror and say, we're not going to win an NBA title in the next 2 to 3 years. Where are we going to be in 5 years? You have to have those tough decisions. I think everyone on that team, other than Steph Curry, right now should be tradable. I also find it really laughable that LeBron James was going to look at the Warriors and say, wow, that's a way better situation than I'm in. I know the Warriors have the names and they have the rings, but they're not the same franchise they used to be. I don't know what the trade would have ended up with. Maybe Klay Thompson goes to the Lakers. Maybe Draymond goes to the Lakers. But LeBron and Steph Curry, as great of a duo as that is, they wouldn't have a deep team around them. I don't think they would have won an NBA championship. Do I think the Warriors would be better with LeBron and Steph Curry? Absolutely. I just don't think that was ever going to happen. And what a complete waste of time the Warriors are spending on when they should be thinking about their future. They should be thinking about the next 5 years. They should be thinking about life without Steph Curry at some point. They're going to have Steph Curry on the roster. He's going to end his career with the Warriors. But they need to think about a future where he's not the number one option and he doesn't have to carry the team night in and night out. We can talk about the LeBron angle as well. Like, I just don't know where he's at in his career. Is he chasing NBA championships? Does he want to remain with the Lakers because he's comfortable there? Does he want the chance to play with his son Bronny? I believe that's an absolute fact that he wants to play with Bronny. Now, he's not going to be traded to the Golden State Warriors and then be told he's never going to be given the chance to play with his son. It's clear that's what he wants to do, and I believe a team like the Lakers is going to give him that opportunity. Again, is it the right thing to do if you're an NBA franchise to give LeBron James whatever he wants? Maybe not, but that's where we're at when it comes to LeBron James. It's going to be his way or the highway. I know for some the idea of Steph and LeBron coming together is exciting, but I've really become numb to the idea of the super team. Like, I just think we've been given so many examples of it not working out. The Houston Rockets had Chris Paul and James Harden. At one point, James Harden was paired with Dwight Howard. They weren't a super team, but the Rockets had a lot of star players. They didn't win a lot of games. Now you have the Clippers. They have Harden. They have Westbrook. They have Kawhi Leonard. They have Paul George. They're a really good basketball team. Do I believe at the end of the year the Clippers are going to win an NBA championship? I don't. We have all the super teams that Kyrie Irving has been a part of. It's not working out. The super team that was the Golden State Warriors worked out because the Warriors drafted those players and then brought in Kevin Durant. He was the missing piece. And oh, by the way, that team won an NBA title before Kevin Durant even got there. That was a once-in-a-lifetime type of team that they put together there in Golden State. It's not going to happen again. And now the Warriors of all teams thinking they're going to do it again, and this time it's going to be LeBron James and Steph Curry leading the way. I just feel like that's so lazy on their end, that they think they're going to create magic twice, that they're going to be able to repeat what they did before. It's not going to work out for them. If I had to make a prediction, in the next 2 years, the Warriors are going to look vastly different. I don't know how much longer Steve Kerr is going to be the coach of the Golden State Warriors, because as the team's talent declines, is he going to want to remain the head coach of the Warriors? He's already gotten some flack this season for the lack of playing time he gave Kuminga early on. When I read this headline, for whatever reason, it really bothered me that the Warriors made this call, because it's so lazy and it's not even what the team needs. Yes, LeBron and playing with Steph Curry makes them an instant contender. But again, I think it's just so lazy for a team that's struggling right now, that has no bright future ahead of them, to just care about the right now. It's not just about the right now. It's about the next 3 to 5 years to build another window. And I thought this is what bothers me most about the Golden State Warriors, is when they won that championship against the Boston Celtics, I thought they had another championship window. They had star players, older ones like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond, and then they had younger rising stars. Andrew Wiggins balled out during that NBA Finals, and now he's really not a focal point to what's going on with that team. He hasn't been the same player. That's not their fault. But again, I look at the Jordan Poole situation. I know we're all laughing about how Jordan Poole is struggling mightily with the Washington Wizards. I never said Jordan Poole should be the best player on a basketball team, but he made a hell of a lot more sense being the third best scoring option on the Golden State Warriors. And I believe, and still do, that the Warriors needed Jordan Poole on their roster way more than they need Draymond Green on their roster right now. That decision to keep Draymond Green and ship away Jordan Poole was the worst decision that the Warriors have made recently. Because again, it shows all they care about is the right now, and they please their star player in Steph Curry. And maybe Steph Curry deserves that, and maybe Draymond Green deserves that. But the Warriors aren't putting together the best basketball product. And now they have to make phone calls to the LA Lakers begging them to trade them their aging star player. Like, it just makes no sense. I don't understand how we got here with the Golden State Warriors. I kind of thought they were going to have a second act to their dynasty, like the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls had a dynasty. They had a three-peat, and then Michael Jordan went away to play basketball, and then they came back. I thought the Golden State Warriors were really back. Now some things are happening with them. Klay Thompson is aging. That's not their fault. Paying Draymond Green was their fault, and I think it was a terrible decision that they're still dealing with. They're dealing with the fact that their star players, some of them are no longer stars, and Steph Curry can't carry a basketball team like he used to. He can still hit those buzzer beaters, but you're not going to win 60 games with your eyes closed anymore. It's not going to happen for the Warriors. And now LeBron James isn't going to come in and save you from being irrelevant. It does bug me that every time there's a superstar player available, we talk about the possibility of them playing with the Golden State Warriors. And I get it. They had that super team with Kevin Durant. But the Warriors weren't built on just bringing in a superstar. They drafted the right players. They drafted Steph Curry. They drafted Klay Thompson. They drafted Draymond Green. They had some really good team building. Now it just seems like desperate attempts. I mean, they've been linked. Remember all that talk? Well, maybe Giannis was going to choose the Golden State Warriors. He stayed in Milwaukee. Lightning doesn't strike twice. They got Kevin Durant. They formed that super team. The dynasty continued. It was great for the Warriors. Now they need to start building towards the future. Talking about LeBron James possibly playing for your team was ridiculous, and what a waste of time. I think it was a bad look for the Warriors that report even came out. I wish I never even heard about it. Clearly, it angers me. The idea that the Warriors thought LeBron James was going to solve all of their problems. Their problem isn't that they're a bad basketball team right now. It's not that they're not interesting. It's that there's nothing to look forward to when you think about the Warriors. No one on that roster, maybe other than Kuminga, has you excited about where they're going to be in the next 2 to 3 years. The team has also struggled to develop young players. Look at James Wiseman. He was nothing with the Warriors. He was a top draft pick and he didn't work out. That piece should have turned into someone who could help you keep the dynasty going. Now you're still relying on Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. You shouldn't be relying on that trio as much. Those three players should become more like role players on your team. Steph Curry is still a star, but Draymond right now is a role player. Klay Thompson right now is a role player. And the biggest problem is the Warriors need them to be more than just role players. I'll end the podcast talking about LeBron. Where do I believe LeBron James is going to end his career? With the LA Lakers. I believe it's inevitable that he is going to be a Laker and that they're going to bring in Bronny James. Is that good for basketball? I have no idea. I hope Bronny can really hoop because there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, especially when it comes to Lakers fans. Like if he comes in and struggles, NBA fans are going to make fun of him. I also just think LeBron has a way better chance of winning with the Lakers than he does on a team like the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers, he's won a championship with them. He's won with Anthony Davis. I know people have issues with Anthony Davis. I believe he's one of the best big men in basketball. I really like the Lakers roster. They won the play-in tournament. I think they're going to win a round or two in the NBA postseason. They have Austin Reeves. LeBron has never been a great regular season guy with most of his teams. Some of these teams, they go through ups and downs. He did it in Cleveland. Some years they were a top team in the East, and then other years he seemed disinterested in the regular season. Come postseason time is when you see the real LeBron, and I believe we will see the real LeBron James come postseason time. When it comes to LeBron and Steph becoming teammates, that would have been really weird. Does anybody really want to see two rivals that played in 4 NBA finals become teammates? I know it's more of a possibility now more than ever because Durant paired with the Warriors and LeBron has joined super teams in the past, but do you really want to see it happen? I don't. I love having arguments about who's better, LeBron or Steph Curry. I am a way bigger fan of Steph Curry than I am of LeBron James, but I'll admit LeBron is a better overall basketball player. He can play defense way better than Steph Curry. He is a more talented basketball player. He is the second best basketball player of all time. But Steph Curry is in my top 10. You can't debate that. I don't want to see 2 top 10 players of all time come together. I want to see them go up against one another. Nobody wants to see Larry Bird play with Magic Johnson. They want to see them go head-to-head in the NBA Finals. When I think about LeBron and Steph Curry, I will think back of their 4 NBA Finals matchup. I'll think about LeBron averaging a triple-double to beat Steph Curry in the NBA Finals. The Warriors formed that super team with Durant because of LeBron James. That's how big of an impact he's had on the Warriors as their rival. It would have been really odd to see those two parties come together. I'm glad it didn't happen. Again, I wasn't rooting for it to happen because I don't think the Warriors deserve for it to happen. I don't think it's right for the Warriors. Yes, it would have been good for the here and now, but stop worrying about the here and now. The Warriors need to think about the future, about the next 5 years, because right now, the next 5 years for the Golden State Warriors look really bleak. They have Jonathan Kuminga, but they have an aging Steph Curry, who's still very good, an aging Klay Thompson, who's declining, and an aging Draymond Green, who's declining. Their biggest concern should not be winning basketball games right now. It should be thinking about the future. Trading LeBron James does not help you build towards that future. I'm concerned for Steph Curry moving forward. He's one of the NBA's biggest stars. You want to see him play in the NBA's biggest games to play in the NBA Finals. He's the greatest three-point shooter of all time. He's not slowing down, and his team's not good enough to go far in the playoffs. Things need to either change for the Warriors, or they might have to move on from Steph Curry, because he might want to move on if their struggles continue. Thanks for listening to this edition of Head to Head. I'm Cam McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Monday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so please rate, review, and subscribe.